my name is Hiromi Takizawa, and I mainly work with glass and emphasize working with glass and light. That's sort of my focus are. And I'll just go my work really quickly and then move on to the Pilchuck. So I'll just list all those my newer works. It's the ultraviolets. I work with glass and there's actually nothing in glass, but all those experimenting in the glass blowing studio, that's what gets me to move on those things. But sort of inspired by the works, the sunset, beautiful sunset color palettes in California, and sort of blurred images. And it's sort of, I grown up in the nature, so I wanted to sort of bring it up, the color palettes and the environment that I grown up and sort of putting together in the boxes.
These are neons.
Those are neons, and yes. But sort of I wanted to tell you, this is Stanwood, Washington, at Pilchuck Glass School. Most of the time in May and June, when you wake up, it's the whole nature covered with fogs. So you enter, wake up in the morning, walk to the studio, this is what I see. It's sort of really beautiful fog sceneries, and sort of that translated into this work, sort of blurbs of natures, but with light. And I'll just go quickly. So I mainly work in a glass blowing studio, and all those things starts from there, and I'm interested in diffractions on the glass. So I sort of insert my narrative into the work, and which my narrative is, I sort of talks about the dual culture that I live in. I'm from Japan and I live here. So sort of those experiences that feeds my artworks. So again, I have always the neons and sort of diffract through onto the walls, and sort of this one's creating waves onto.
Are those lenses?
Those are magnified lenses that everybody have experienced that when you grab a magnified lenses, you have the focal point. That's how like when kids play. But so instead of using a sunlight, I just use a neon light to create sort of waves, sort of that experimenting optics of glass, and sort of leads to the work. Also, those are glass as well. And well, this is, I just slid it in. I'm identical twins, and I have identical twin sister. So that also oftentimes comes into my narrative, into my work. So those are also made out of glass, styrofoam cups, and so just go quickly. Those are casted glass apple. It's about the birthmarks. And also, I slid it in there because one of the things, the great thing is about working with glass, that I can choose glass using as in a craft materials, or I can use glass as in a sculptural materials. And I like that, how I can choose and sort of swim in between. So, and if I was using as in a craft material, I wanted to create the one sort of a uniquely handcrafted, which I went to school at Cal State Fullerton. I graduated craft major. So, and I grown up in a Japanese culture that craft is the highest form of arts. So I always stick with me that sort of creating things that by hands with the excellent craftsmanships. So those are things that are important to me. And so from now on, that I'm just gonna go slides for the Pilchuck. Oops, that might be go really fast. So maybe I can just talk about it. I went to Pilchuck. I taught a class last summer. It's called Fantastic Bubble Making Adventure. It's for beginning glass blowing classes, and those things that we did. But what should I talk? Should I go? This goes really fast, but should I tell?
You went out to the sound?
Yes, we did. Yes. So so many things that I want to tell. Great things about Pilchuck. It's like where to start.
What are you doing with the bubbles? What did you do with the?
So so I gave the main assignments that I gave them was they never worked with glass blowings and even glass. So I gave them an assignment to go safe in the sounds, which everybody learned how to blow bubbles. And assignment was to make vessels that floats in the oceans. And so we tied them up together, went to the Puget Sound, and sort of went on the boat ride with the class and sort of floats. And I inserted a camera inside of the vessel, so we were able to see how those vessels floating in the oceans. And the great things about Pilchuck is in the middle of the nature is that I feel like I have to take that into the advantage. I have to take advantage of being in nature. So I wanted to do a very site-specific project. And also interesting to me, the language sounds can be audio, but sounds also can be means harm things away from, which I see a connection in the glass that oftentimes making a Belger put something very precious and sort of that language connections that I saw. So I put a lot of sort of those class work images from the class time. They learned to basically glass blowings, and I sort of let students where I gave them all those sets of skills, so they can choose to whether they want to make a vessel or they can use as an artistic medium. So that was a sort of a goal. But there was a sort of a school campus, and I don't know how many people are familiar with the glass blowing studio. And it also in the class time, great things that we can have visiting artists into a class. And I remember when I was 2005, Kelly Odell was my teaching assistant for the Kate Rose class when I took. And she took us to William Wallace sort of barn house, which is where he stores his work. And I was just like, oh my God, am I going to Bill's barn? I seen him on the book, but I never met this person. But he's really famous. I've seen his work in museums. So that was really a great treat. And now, 8 years or 9 years later, I get to take my students to have the same experience that I had too. So those things are coming, goes, and sharing, I think. Well, the slides, maybe I should finish slides and probably answer questions.
Thank you, Hiromi.
Okay.
So both of you have really talked about your affiliations with Pilchuck, more or less. But how did you actually come to Pilchuck? How did you find out about Pilchuck in the first place? Why did you think it would be a good place for you to nurture your artistic skills? What is it about Pilchuck that drew you there?
Since I'm older.
Okay. You're supposed to say since I'm wiser.
1980, I was living in Austin, Texas, and I had a glass studio with a partner, and I was reading this magazine, Glass Magazine, to see what was going on in the world, and was very excited by the work I was seeing of Paul Marioni and Narcissus Qualiata and Dale Chihuly. And I ended up calling people and asking them if they would come down and do a workshop in Austin, Texas, and they came. And Paul was one of them, and Paul came down and he did a lecture, so we can't even really remember exactly what happened. But anyway, he asked me to be his TA at Pilchuck the next year, 1980. And so I went up there, and I could not believe that a place like that even existed. And there were so many stars there that summer, like Klaus and Bertil and all the guys that were working for Dale at that time were Rich Royal, Ben Moore, Bill Morris, Flora Mace, Joey Kirkpatrick. It just was crazy. I just thought I'd died and gone to heaven. And then the next year they asked me to teach. I'd never taught before at all. So it was a miracle, and I still think that miracles happen up there. So it was a time when things were a lot maybe easier to have something like that happen because it was still kind of close to the beginning, but, so I don't know. What about you?
First time when I went there was 2005, and Catherine Gray, she recommended me to go out there. That was the first time. I went there as a pole turner, which 15 pole turner, basically glass blower, gathered together, makes a piece for the auctions for the year. So I went there as a pole turner and returned as a student, returned as a teaching assistant, returned as artist assistant, and work as a staff and a hot shop tech. I try to go back there as much as I could. It just because wonderful community out there.
So what you teach, you don't have not that many options unless you're going to be like artist in residence.
Or I'm
or they have to wait your cycle to get asked back to teach.
I am happy to work as a staff. I love working with people.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you mentioned community, so you kind of preempted my next question, which is, what is it about the Pilchuck community that is so inspirational? I mean, there are these art communities which are, very much directed. I mean, they're intentional. They're set up, but there's something also about them where they allow a certain amount of elasticity for people to kind of bring what they have and to take away what the community has to give. So what is it that you find brings you back to Pilchuck all the time? What is it about that community? I mean, why go to Pilchuck Glass School and not Urban Glass or one of the other schools? There's one in New Orleans, I think. I mean, what is it about Pilchuck that is, as the word that you use, magical?
Do you want to say?
Go ahead.
It's just, I think Dale set it up originally. And by the way, one of the main founders of the idea, the concept of that place was also Ruth Tamura, who was teaching at CCAC in 1971. And she was part of putting together the ideas for Pilchuck, I just want to say. She's not often mentioned.
No, she's not.
And anyway, it's so immersive. Like you don't go anywhere else. You don't see you don't go home to your apartment or to your hotel room or wherever. You're staying in a house on campus in the same nature. You all take your trails to your little spots where you sleep, and then you all come back through the fog back down to the activity where all the studios are, and then you all go, the bell rings and you all go to eat together. So it's just nonstop about art. I mean, you're fed, and then people get excited, your students, or you get excited by what you see, and it just all this gets into this ball
Contagious
of
creativity.
And I can't sleep at night there. It's just crazy. Well, maybe I should suggest that, or maybe I should do this, and it's just, and then it has affected me in many ways, and my work has shifted, after visits there, friendships. There's nothing else happening except Pilchuck, and being an artist in a creative place, there's no distraction. Cell phone reception is bad.
Very nurturing, but also so what about for you?
For me, is that the people that I meet there, they're very excited to be there, and the Pilchuck is very inviting and friendly environments where everybody comes and comes with the idea, and then it makes it possible, and everybody's there to support you and share the times and struggles, and it's just a people interaction it's amazing, and a positive creative energy is just filled with. And
so it's more or less a non-threatening, it might be competitive, but it's a non-threatening environment.
People are really willing to share. Mm-hmm. Like all those, like Dante's and Paul's comes in, all those people come in and do a demos, the younger generation can see, and they're happy to give it away, what they offer. They offer a lot. So that's sort of that creative energy circling. That's something about it. Very special, I think.
That's great. Thank you very much.